When all the children come in, it can be quite overwhelming to start with, and I think it's just important to take your time, spend a little bit of time playing alongside them and let them settle in before you start getting them to do anything in particular. An activity that we like doing is getting all the children to do some art, like a picture of themselves or a canvas, that we get ready on a display, so when they start school in September they can already see their work up, and it really helps them to feel part of the classroom and they belong there. Something that is very simple is we get a photograph of all the children when they visit, and then over the summer holidays it gives me a chance to put names to faces and work out who's who, and it helps me learn their names before they start, which again is very useful. And I think just something that I wish I'd known when I first started was just to take it a bit slower. I think when I first became an NQT I was so keen to get them started, and I just had really high expectations, when actually it takes a long time just to train them to hang up their coat, go to the toilet, tidy up.
It's always a really good idea for teachers to advise their parents to make that journey to school with the children before the first day of school. So throughout the summer, spend time doing the school run. You may even want to do it in your school uniform, just to take away the anxiety and those worries ready for the first day of school. So that part of the school day is already really familiar to them.
We send home a set of vocabulary cards, and on those cards we include all of the things that they will see, need, hear and use from the very first day in reception. So we include things like tray, peg, pencil, carpet, whiteboard, all of the things that we'll be using in our everyday talk but that the children might not have come across before. We find it really helps.
So a lovely thing that we do at our school is that all of our new starters in reception get paired with a buddy in year 6, and on their first day at school there's a letter waiting for them on their arrival from their year 6 buddy welcoming them to the school, and on the first day when they stay for lunch their buddy comes down to the classroom, walks them up hand in hand to the hall, goes and collects their dinner if they're school dinners and cuts it up for them, and if they're packed lunch stays there and helps them unwrap their food. It's really, really lovely. The year 6s really like coming down to reception and having their friend there, and the reception children love having someone older in the school that they recognise when they're walking around and in the playground.
My advice to you is to really focus on getting to know the children. Spend time with them, talk to them, watch them play, observe all the things they do. Ask them lots and lots of open-ended questions. Don't overplan. The day goes very quickly, and enjoy it. And my final piece of advice is read lots and lots of stories, because there's lots of opportunity for speaking and listening and getting to know the little characters in your class.
Something that's worked really well is getting photographs of the family and making a display for when the children come in on that first day so they can see their loved ones.
This year we made some welcome packs for the children. They were really cheaply put together. All we had to do was get some paper bags, which we decorated really nicely so they'd get excited when they saw them. And inside, we put a list of games that they could play and an IKEA bear, which only cost £1. So we were able to buy them for all the children. Children were so pleased to receive the bears, and when they went home they played the games that we suggested with their bear, and when they came back to school in September they were so excited to tell us all about them.
One of the best things we use at the beginning of the year is sticky labels with the children's names on and a picture that they would recognise. I type all these out and print out loads of these. We have them all around the classroom and in the outdoor area, so they can find their own name and stick it next to something that they've made, or stick it on the back of a painting, or stick it on a piece of work or a piece of writing, something that they've done, so later on you can use that rather than having lots of sheets of paper, lots of things that people have made and you don't know whose it is.
We always remind parents that it's okay for children's clothes to get messy in early years. They'll get mud on them, they'll get paint on them. That's okay, it's not the child's fault, it's early years. That's what happens. It's useful to make a display with some clothes that look messy, put some mud on a shirt, some paint on the trousers, just label it and say, this is okay. This is what you'll expect to see if your child is learning.
When our new children visit us in the summer term, we sent home a transition table mat. The table mat has pictures of the key adults, the children's coat peg, their tray, the entrance and exit and toilets. The idea is that the children use the table mat at meal times, which provokes a conversation about their new and exciting journey.
Every summer holiday we send out a postcard to our new children that are starting school for the first time in reception, just to say hello and that we can't wait to see them, and we're looking forward to welcoming them to their new class in September. And we find that's a really lovely way to keep that link going between school and home during the long summer holidays, because when you're very small that can seem like a really long time.
I always make sure that I give all parents and the teaching team the 3-week warning. The children will seem to settle really well in the first few weeks. Everything's going really, really brilliantly, and then suddenly you get to week 3 and the children are coming in crying. If you've given the 3-week warning, parents will be expecting this, and they will know that it is normal and that it is just their child's way of saying that they are tired.
At our school, we recommend a doorstop visit, because it's really important that you meet the child before they actually enter school on the first day in September. When we do our doorstep visits, we provide a red book bag so that when they start school they can bring it along with them, and we also give them an invitation of the actual start date so that they can pop it on the fridge and they can count down. Mums as well can ask any questions that they might not want to ask in front of everybody else. So it's really important that you do actually meet the child before they actually start school.
My top tip would be never be scared to take risks. You know your children, you spend all the days with them. If it's not on the lesson plan, but it's what they need or what they want, go with it. We know, especially in the early years, children learn best when they're engaged and motivated. You know them and you know what they need. Don't be scared if it's not on the lesson plan.
We give all the parents a paper bag to take away, and the children are asked to decorate the paper bag, and then throughout the summer holidays fill it with things that are important to them or things that they've seen or picked up during the summer holidays. And then in the first week back after the summer holidays, they bring the bag in and we talk through what is in the bag and all the things that are important to them. It went down really well last year and the year before, and it's something that I would strongly recommend that you try.
If I could give you one tip to try and help you with your reception class in September, it would be to try and get to know the children first. Have a transition day. That would be to show the children where the classroom is, where they're going to put their clothes, where their things are going to go. It's daunting not only for the children but also for parents. So the more parents know, the more they can prepare their children for it, and that would be a lot easier for you at the start of September, so that the children can know where they're going and what to do as soon as they come in. And Play-Doh is always a certainty. I always have Play-Doh so that the children, it's easy to use, they can be manipulated into any kind of design, and it's stress relief, so for you and for the children.
Now, starting school is the most exciting journey a child ever undertakes, and also for the new teachers that are starting the profession this September. It can also be quite daunting, but just remember the clue is in the title. You are early career teachers. So my top tip for you is ask questions. There's nothing wrong with asking absolutely anything, and there's no such thing as a silly question.
Every year we create a social story for all the children coming into our reception, not just for children with special needs but for all the children. We found it really beneficial over last year. We put a picture of the school, we have some widgets there as well for the children. We do a picture of the gates they're going to come through, so as they haven't been able to come into school as much as maybe they would have done previously. We have a picture of our learning garden as well, and then we personalise it a little bit.
We take a photo book into our local nurseries for those children who are joining us in September. They look a bit like this, but they've got all the information that children need to be able to look through and talk about with the nursery practitioners. From that then they're able to take their own pictures and put them into their own book, so that when they join us in September they have their book in school, so when they're feeling a bit upset or a little bit worried they can look at their book and remember all the happy things and the things that they do with their families.
Something we do every year is we do stay and play sessions where families come with their children too. This helps the children feel really settled and they can practice saying goodbye at the door.
Try to smile and have fun in those first couple of days, and just focus on getting to know the children and having a really nice time. If you're feeling happy and relaxed, the children are a lot more likely to as well.
The children come of an afternoon, bring their favourite teddy, and we do all lovely teddy bear themed activities. We do some teddy bear painting, some teddy bear craft, we play some circle games, and then partway through the afternoon we have a little picnic with some juice, water, treats, and then they all get to finish the session with a story and a song. We found it really successful every year, so give it a go.
We set up a Reception Explorer page on our home school communication platform. This enabled the teachers and the new starters to post photographs of themselves along with a little bit about their family and what they like to do. Then throughout the summer holidays the children looked through those photographs, and in September they knew quite a lot of faces and names.
The children love it when we know little things about them, their younger brothers and sisters' names or their favourite story. And the parents feel secure and happy when they know that we are going to love their children as if they were our own.
So we work really hard to help transition children into reception by promoting life skills. So things like working with parents to encourage their child to get dressed in the morning, put on their own socks and shoes, and also other skills such as being able to hang up their own bag and coat on a peg, and things like using a knife and fork. All essential skills that also really promote independence, which is so important as they head into reception.
We find home visits a really useful tool to aid with transition in our school. We find that it gives us the time to really introduce ourselves to the parents and the children, for the parents to ask any of those questions and have them answered in an unrushed way, and it also gives us time just to find out that little bit more important information about the child that helps us to be ready for September. For example, toilet training, dietary requirements, things like that might not be able to, we might not be able to gather that from, for example, a come and play session where there are more families and more children wandering around.
We make sure we speak to the children's nurseries and childminders before they start, so that when they start school we put out an activity that we know that they will like. And in that first week we put loads of photos on Class Dojo so the parents can see how their children are settling.
So my top tip for anyone new to the early years, when you first get those children on that first day, that first week, it can be really overwhelming. Every year I think to myself, how am I going to get these children to the early learning goal? How am I going to get them writing a sentence? How am I going to get them reading a sentence? But actually, reception is one of the coolest years to teach because it is such a journey, and the children that leave reception are just so different than the children that arrive. So don't panic and don't overthink it, and just enjoy getting to know the kiddies. That's my top tip.